and tidy edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Hello, how are you all? Happy Wednesday. It's a little dull. These are so light, I had to turn down the color. How's it going? Hi, Elena. Hi, Sue. Hi, Danny. Hello, Avec Unfeed. Hi, Shem. Hi, Constance. Hi, Raquel. Hi, Jackie. How's it going? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm trying to get into all the Hearts Fabric sponsored projects, and I wanted to do 2 before summer ended. This one I'm doing this week because I need 3 days to do it, but the halter we're just going to do in 2 days. So my new calendar's out, and I don't have it actually queued up, but it's on Instagram. I'll put it in the community tab on YouTube as well. It's in the guild as well. Hi, Sydney. How's it going? Hi, Julie. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see you all. So I've never sewn anything from this pattern company. Look how pretty the packaging is. So nice. So it's a little tuck blouse. This is not the tuck blouse that I'm wearing in my Instagram post today, where I'm wearing the Creston jeans. I got a few comments about it. This is not it, just so you don't get confused. That one I drafted, the one on Instagram. So hi, Michelle, how's it going? And you can do a blouse or dress length, short sleeve or long sleeve. The sleeves have pleats, which I can't show you very well with this focus right now. I'm gonna do the short sleeve top. That's what I'm gonna do. I feel like in this color, it's very summery, so I feel like it'd be perfect for that. And it'll be hanging at Hearts Fabric soon, so you get to see it in person if you're in the Santa Cruz area, Hillary. So yeah. Hey, Terry, how's it going? But I don't usually fit anything on the cutting string, but today I'm gonna fit it just at the last second. I cut it out of muslin, and I thought we could start having a little fun with fitting because I'm gonna be launching a huge fitting series soon, so I might as well get you kind of in the groove of how I like to fit things. And this is one for me, I'm gonna try and zoom it in a little bit. This is one for me that I would be very suspicious of how it would fit me because it's a woven with no contouring in the back, and my hip tilt does not play nice with that. Usually things will just pool or be really tight across there with lots of drag lines. It looks terrible. So this is a really good one to fit for me. And in the pattern, I should show you. Maybe I should say hi to you a little bit more, huh? Before I just dive into this. So the pattern looks like this. So you see all the tucks to sew, those are all the size lines. But you get this little piece here to kind of make sure that when you finish all your tucks, your piece is about the right size, right? So I used it to cut out this muslin, and I kind of had to wing it to taper into the side seam here, because the bottom, it was the full width, and it's not the full piece, right? So, hey Lisa, how's it going? So, it's bigger than I thought it would be. Let's just give it a little spin here. It hangs off my back really nicely. I never ever see that right out the gate. The shoulder's a little bit wide for me. Armhole's a little deep for me. Usually I like my armhole like way up here if I don't want any kind of, like if I don't want the whole blouse to come with me when I lift my arms up, I put my armhole like way up there. And we can compare this to my sloper. I think the only thing that maybe I would address is this. But see, remember, the way that this would be sewn is there'd be a lot of pleats right here with the fullness falling from all these pleats. So honestly, this right here could be no problem at all, because we're seeing it in one lump sum right there. I think the only thing I would probably do is bring the armhole in, maybe even just cut a smaller size of the armhole. Look at the back though. I mean, look at that. It hangs really nicely. It's really long. What do you guys think? I didn't cut the sleeve out because I was going to compare it to my sloper. And yeah, you can see I had to kind of like fit all this in right here, so it's not hanging very well. And I didn't sew it. I just ironed it, and there's a few gathers back here. Very simple. Hi Hannah, how's it going? The dress is identical. I don't know why the placket is different lengths on the pattern piece. I don't speak French either, so yeah, so this dart is also not really that great for me. But if I were to make this without fitting it, you know, it's not bad. Like it's wearable, right? So in our last, was it skill building session? Did we have yeah, we had a skill building session recently, and we played a game called Fit or Skip. So, oh, that's awesome, Claire. I'm glad to hear it. Yeah, it's my first time sewing their patterns. So, what I do usually is I look at a pattern and I go, yeah, I need to fit this. No, I don't need to fit this. So there's a lot of things you just don't, you know, it's like you can fit it if you want, but I think you can safely kind of get around it once you kind of know your fitting issues, and you know maybe that pattern company, or it's just so loose, like why bother, you know? So this is one I would probably fit, and it's basically because of my back, and you can see this is really, really low. Here's my bust. Here's the dart. So I think that, you know, what I really want to see is this way up here. I'm not sure I would get rid of the fullness. I would like a looser top. I'm not thrilled with the dart placement, but it's not a very big dart. So, you know, it's pointing there. It just puts it right here, you know, so I feel like it could be a lot longer if I wanted a little bit more taper, right? You know, something maybe like that. So the reason, I mean, you know, if you want to cut and sew a muslin, I usually prefer to do that if I really, really want to know. Oh, thanks, Constance. Honestly, you know what helps the algorithm is leaving a comment under my video, but I appreciate the likes. Likes show people, hey, people like this. I might watch it. I love it. That looks a little better, right? It's a little bit more in the ballpark. So the reason I wanted to show you this is that if you wanted to fit something, an issue, I was kind of hoping there'd be more issues that I could show you. I usually just do what the fabric wants, you know, like if I had like a gape here, you know, I'm going to work on this gape right here. I'm going to go, okay, you know, where can I put that? See, I have a rounded back, so I was kind of surprised I didn't have a gape here. I mean, maybe we can force one, but honestly, the armhole is like so low. Yeah, it's like a solid 2 inches lower. This has 3/8 inch seams or 1 centimeter. And I think we're gonna compare it to my sloper. It's almost in the right spot. I don't have it pinned to the form either, it's just hanging there. So if you want, like say you're using tissue, know that, I mean, I want you to comment in the chat, but it doesn't help the algorithm, no. Thanks for commenting though and asking. Nice, Genevieve. Yeah, their patterns are really cute. I was looking at their site today. In fact, here I have it up on my tab right here, so you guys can check it out. Hearts Fabric gave us this. There you go. Yeah, I was kind of hoping we'd have a few more issues to deal with. Isn't that funny? This is the only thing I'm a little bit like, okay, hopefully when all these pleats are here and it's falling kind of straight down across the chest, not in this one lump, I think that'll be better. Yeah, exactly, Elena. That you can't comment under the video until the stream is over. Well, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it. You guys are so conscientious of the algorithm today. So let me get my sloper out. It's right here. And we'll just compare it. We have this, I think this is the Hearts Fine Cotton fabric. I didn't get a project sheet and she's emailed it to me and I forgot to write it down, but I'll put more information about that. And then just some simple little pearl buttons. And then the little booklet is really cute too. It's in French and English. It looks like this, but you open it sideways. So yeah, I bet a lot of people haven't heard of this pattern company, or unless, I don't know though. You guys are always so far ahead of me. All right, let's look at my pattern. I'm gonna pull the back first. I like to look at the back first. Get the shoulders in the right place. They do that annoying thing where they give you the right front, but they also give you the right back, so then you can't sew them together. So if you do a muslin and it's a print or something and you want it to like be not distracting, or maybe you're going to do a wearable muslin, make sure you flip it. Same with this goes on the left back, or this is the right back, this is the left back, this is the right front. That's what it is. Hard to keep track. Because I ironed all my seams, turned them all under, got it all ready to go. Then I was like, oh shoot, this is the wrong one. So here is my sloper compared to this when I just line it up to the shoulder, but that's not the accurate thing to do. The accurate thing to do when you want to compare apples to apples is you want to line up your armhole here like this. We'll use this front since it doesn't have the pleats. And you want to make sure that when you are comparing something, let's use a little bit of removable tape, that you're getting the shoulder position correct. Because the shoulder seam on this pattern, especially since it has a yoke, it could be really far forward, it could be really far back. You don't know where that seam is. It's very movable. It's just a line, right? So it could be anywhere. Yeah, I have seen those. We're probably going to review them at the Pattern Chatter this week. Oops, see, I did it upside down again. Jeez. I don't think people understand how important that is. Or maybe it's just for me. Maybe it's just me. All right, we're just going to pull it over here. I'm kind of eyeballing the seam allowance there. You could do this in, like Swedish tracing paper, the half muslin like I did. you could sew it, you know, things like that. Right, and so now what we can do is we can kind of compare when we have our armholes in the same spot, like, and our center front. So this is what I like to do, is I like to put the armhole and that, no, this is kind of hard actually. This does come forward a bit. Let's just eyeball that 3/4 about, like this. So now, when I have this center seam stacked on the front and the back like that, it's going to be a little more accurate. See, if you have your armhole and your center seam stacked like that, you can compare and see where is the shoulder line in comparison. Let's pull this over here. We'll line up the center seam here, and then I'm going to pull this up here. And up here I don't have it folded down, so it's probably right here in the middle. And that isn't about the exact same place. Armhole looks not that low, which is kind of funny. But I'm not quite in the right spot right here. So this was here. This is going to fold down to here. And then you split the difference. Yeah, that's about right. Just about right there. It's like that. Hey Blair, how's it going? All right, so even though that looks about the right height, the shoulder, I'm still suspicious of this armhole. I know it's lower than my sloper. Here's my sloper actually. I have it right here. You can see where this hits on here. See how much higher that is? Oh no, you can't see that. See how much higher that is compared. This is down here. And here, this is way up there. That's what I want. What if you measure the sleeve cap height for what? I'm definitely going to compare my sleeves, but not until I get my armhole about where I think I want it to be. So I'm going to look at that. Look at that. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, I still am not sure I understand what you mean. Measure the sleeve cap height for what? See, look at that. Look at how much lower that one is. Since I assume you want to do a sleeve lift. I don't want to do a sleeve lift. You can't see. Thank you. All right. So you can kind of see if I line that up there. It's not the same place, but it's about the same place. I don't want to do a sleeve lift. I would only do a sleeve lift if I knew this was really fitted and I really needed to be able to lift my arms up. But I'm not going to add a sleeve lift unless I know that for sure. So what I don't get is this is so much lower, and it's because part of that's going to be here. So that means, like, say we were to put that shoulder seam of the back in the same exact place as this one. So it would put some of this over here, which would drop this down a little bit. That's why I know that it's a little bit off. So I don't really want to, I want the circumference of my armhole. So I'm just going to lift this up 2 inches and compare it to my sleeve. So let me set this over here. Let's look at the other sizes. So if I were to go, I really wish people would stack their sizes. This is so odd. See all these lines on here? I would not have graded this. It's hard. It's really hard to see. I can't use a different size because they're not nested the way they would need to be nested. So I'm just going to draw my tucks in here so I can see them better, so I don't go crazy. If you bought this as a PDF, I'm assuming they sell PDFs, you could just print out your size and you wouldn't have all the pleat lines, which would be great, right? I'm really glad my size is really different. Okay. One more. No, two more. Oh, they're getting really close together now. 1, 2, 3, 4. My goodness. My goodness. This is it. Boy. Let's hope. You really want these to be super accurate too. I hope that was right. If anything, make sure they're parallel, perfectly parallel. That will be, like now I'm just going by my ruler. They're 3/4 of an inch apart, and these are 1 inch apart. They're 1 inch apart from each other, and the pleat itself is 3/8. It's kind of a big pleat. Not really a tuck, more like a pleat, but it's a tuck. So if I wanted to raise my armhole up 2 inches, that's quite a bit. Oof, I don't want to do that. Oh, I wish I could see my size. Maybe we could find the, let's get a darker line. This is my line here, right? I would like to ignore all other sizes. I'm tempted to cut it out so I cannot see them. Like this. There we go. I'm gonna get some paper back here. How are you guys doing? No, my thumb is not better. My thumb and I are definitely at odds with each other. I get to go to a occupational therapist on Friday, but I don't think it's going to be good. I think that they're going to tell me to stop doing things, and, you know, nobody likes stopping doing anything they like to do, right? Why am I being so skimpy on the paper? We're gonna cut this apart though. Tape your pieces separately. Always tape your pieces separately. Just like this. Are you all working this week? Anyone have like last minute summer vacation things happening soon? Yeah, Blair's right. I hate to admit it, but it's Blair's right. Working hard. You already had your vacation, Sydney. But I feel like at the end of the summer, every time we were always like, wow, we better do something before the summer ends and school starts, you know? This is my good ruler, not this one. So when I raise armholes and things, oh wow, Terry, really? You're on year round, aren't you? Yeah, we'll see, Michelle, I don't know. Just got back from a work conference. Hey. You know I do. Yeah, you do. Hardly working. You're trying to recover all your house plants. Oh, no. Yeah, I have another controller that has paddles underneath, but it's still meant for guys. It's the stretching the thumb, you know. It's a man's world. Your son starts school Friday. Dang, people are starting. See, around here, it's like the 25th. So, okay, it just starts early. Oh my God, that's early. Sheesh. Okay, so I usually just raise my armhole. If these kinds of things kind of make you nervous, like you're like, I really want to maintain the integrity of some of these angles and seams and things like that, you know, you can cut this out, you know, basically cut this out and raise it up 2 inches and fill in the paper, right? And then that way you're kind of staying with the integrity of the position, you know, so your across chest doesn't change, things like that. And that would be really smart on this pattern because there's gathers right here. You can see I pleated it, right? So if I were to do something like that, let's see. Sorry, this piece is really hard to see anything on. Let me draw some lines so you can kind of see. Well, that's the center back, right? And if I took this out, took the pleat out after Labor Day, see, I think that's a smart. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change the sleeve pattern for sure. But I'm not doing a sleeve lift. A sleeve lift is different. A sleeve lift basically only changes the sleeve. So you lift up the sleeve right here, like you add something right here, and you maintain the length of the armhole. That's all. So basically it's like adding a built-in gusset. So you don't change the armhole in the garment, you only add it to the sleeve. Sometimes you can change it on the garment. Sometimes I have, but most of the time, most people will only just add it to the sleeve. That's a sleeve lift. I am closing the armhole right now. I'm raising it, tightening it up. It'll lift my sleeve up, but it's not a sleeve lift. So. All right. Here, so if I were to do it this way, I don't do it this way, but I think this is a really smart way to do it because it kind of gives you confidence. So I'm just going to make a parallel line here like this. And then a straight across line, perpendicular. I'd actually like this to intersect through the armhole right here and not the seam here. So I'm gonna move this over a little bit more in line with that purple line, like that, okay? So let me take off this paper because we'll use it somewhere else now. Trying to do some of my alterations I do, I'm trying to make them a little bit more home sewing related rather than how I do it. The other things I'm not going to change because they're just faster and easier and you don't have to be like, what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. You just pinch and pull. Pinch and pull. All right, so we're going to add this piece of paper right here. And now I can just put the amount here that I want, right? 2 inches, I'm going to raise it up. And then I'm going to slide this piece. Get the surface looking better along this line, right? So then we're not changing anything in circumference. So anytime you're doing changes for fit, ask yourself, what seam does this affect? Is this a circumference change or a length change? And it kind of helps keep you on track with the change you're doing. Like if I do this, is this going to add to the circumference when I'm only really wanting to add to the length or shorten it? So just think of it that way, and it really helps. It kind of helps calm down all of the options. All right, so we'll raise this all the way up and see I'm up here now, and I'm going to have to blend that in. But I've added 2 inches and really it didn't change much up here. I think I'm just going to taper it in right there. Just looking for a piece of paper here. I don't really need this one up here, except the across armhole thing was, the across shoulder thing was a little bit something I wanted to look at. I should have changed that first, probably. Get rid of this tape. I have permanent tape I have to cut off, and then I have the removable that I just pull off. And it's the permanent that's always a problem. You know? Is your mom visiting this time, Shem? I know your mom visited last year, right? All right, so I'm gonna blend this in like that. Get it back to this yoke depth right there that I want, so that I don't change this. But at least there's gathers right here at the bottom, so it's pretty forgiving that way. All right, and then let's do the same on the front. And then here, when you do things like this, what you're really concerned with is maintaining your circumference, right? So if your hem, you know, if let's say the hem point is right here, right? Here's the side seam, here's the hem. We'll just pretend like that's it, right? And up here, you know, your armhole is here and here, here's your point. You need to connect those 2 points. That's how you maintain your circumference of your hem and your chest. It may look like you're altering your side seam here. You can tell, like this one here and this here. See how this is, I don't know if you can tell, let's see. This is sticking out farther than down here. It looks like it is, but it's not. Remember, this point was right here. This piece was down here. So all we're doing is trimming off that little bit that was down there. You know, you're just kind of blending it in. So let's try and find the actual. I'm going to put on the seam allowance too. Yeah, so I'm like right there. It doesn't change that much, to be honest. All right, so we have our back. Now let's look at our front. And we can do the exact same thing. So we're gonna, we'll cut off this armhole. Maybe we can, we have this pesky dart. It's all these lines for me, really. That's kind of bugging me right now. I'm gonna make my cut line there. And I sort of want to put it right here and raise it up. But I'm going to take this dart, which I have right here, right? See, there's the dart. I can use this piece to transfer my dart. Oh, cool. They come, yeah, that's nice. They come all the way there for house sitting, dog sitting. You can see why usually I would just add the 2 inches to the armhole, so I don't have to deal with these dart things. I'm very literal when it comes to changes. All right, we'll just raise that up. Really chokes up that armhole though, look at that. Is that really where it's at? It makes it look so small. But yeah, if I raise that 2 inches, it's going to be right there. I'm going to trust my gut. We're going to do it. Oh, that's great. Plus the dogs get like all that attention without the kids being there. The seam allowance is 1 centimeter, so 3/8 of an inch. I hope you guys remind me of that when I go to cut it out, because we want French seams, don't we? All right, and so by doing this, I've probably changed my armhole, because look at this. This, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble seeing my lines. I'm gonna take this off really quick, really quick. I didn't plan on doing this, so I didn't really like look the pattern over. So if my thing was down here, this right here is my line. And if I choke it up that much, yeah, we're doing it. We're doing it because we are changing the sleeve length. I'm not trying to maintain the length of the armhole right now, because it's not right for me. It's not right for me, so. And then let's transfer the dart. I just raised it up 2 inches by doing that. So you know, what better thing I could have done in this instance was cut my L above the dart. Why didn't I do that? Because I just don't do it this way. Let's do this. Let me just figure this out with you guys. Right? So then we want we don't have to change our dart. I know what I'm doing, don't I? There we go. All right, so now there's my dart. It's still there. You can see it. And I'm gonna blend my side seam. So I'm gonna fold my dart. Oh, this dart folds with the fold down, so the shape of it. So fold the bottom of your dart and fold it up to the line if you want to close it and find that side seam shape. Some darts go the other way. A lot of times mine go the other way. There's a lot of paper here now, so it's going to be a little bit fussy. There we go. So now I have that side seam put together. My dogs right now are so high maintenance. Well, one of my dogs, one of my cats, they're a little bit too much right now, you know? I'm going to curve this. I'm going to kind of blend it in like this. There we go. I'm going to take off there's my shape. You can still see it filled in my dart a little bit there. Getting rid of that extra tape on there. Put all my patchwork down back here. All right, and so what I did to my sleeve was I raised the armhole 2 inches. I have a lot of rulers sitting here. So now you could do kind of the same thing where you slice it and raise it up, but we're just going to raise it up. I'm actually going to look at my sleeve and see, because look at that. The sleeve looks really good. You see that? That makes me nervous. Donna, how's it going? All right, let's measure the armhole. Don't need this piece. We just need this and this and this. How are you, Donna? Nice to see you. All right, I'm gonna measure my armhole. It's like 8 1/8, so 7 3/8. But I usually leave my side seam allowance in there, so we're just gonna take 3/8 off of that. So we'll say it's 7 3/4. And then here, this one will take 3/4 of off, so this is 4. We're gonna measure the lower armhole of the back, and this one is 5 5/8. So 9 5/8 is the back, 7 3/4 is the front. Oh, nice, Donna. That sounds pretty cozy. I had this funny dream 2 nights ago where, well, the dogs got out. Like, there was all of a sudden there was this huge dog event at my house. And we weren't living at the house we have now in our yard. It was like, I don't know, and everybody had a medium dog and a small dog like I do, which was really funny. So it was like a medium and small dog event, right? And everybody was hanging out. And my husband's like, let's just open the backyard and they can all come in and play. And I was like, okay. Well, our dogs, he didn't shut the gate. And our dogs were like, we don't want to hang out with these guys. And they took off. And so they were gone. And but for some reason, I had renamed my dog Molly Cozy. So I was out there like panicking. Like for me, one of the worst things in the entire world is a pet missing. Like, I'm not kidding. It's bad, you guys. Like, like, I won't even watch animal movies. You guys know I'm really weird about that. But I was calling Molly. I was like, Cozy, Cozy. I don't know why I called her Cozy. It was really funny. All right. I do not understand these notches. So I'm going to do a total sleeve length because I don't understand these notches right here. There's no, unless maybe these two are the back. I don't know. So that was 18. 21 3/4 is the total. And then we have the front. So 16, 17 1/2 plus an 8. So 17 5/8. 17 5/8. And we would like, I like 1.5 inches of ease. So we would like this more like 19 1/8. So we need to get rid of 2 5/8. Right, Donna? Exactly. Yeah, I know. And you and I both have those big yards where you cannot see them all the time. Molly is like such a selective listener. She's just like, whatever, dude. You know? So I'm like, you know? I'm kind of debating on whether I should just use my sleeve here and measure it. All right, so you can tell my cap it's like a little higher than this one. See that right there? It's about 3/4 of an inch higher. The width of it is about the same, but let's be honest, this one, mine would be like way up here. So my cap is a lot higher than this one. It's gonna be like up here. This one's a little flat and looking a little narrow for me. The width around here is pretty good. It's just not in the right spot. So if I want to decrease this, this is kind of complicated sleeve stuff. I didn't think we'd get into this little like complicated sleeve thing here. But yeah, if I were to raise this 2 inches, that would shorten my cap a little too much. And what I'm trying to do is decrease this length here. So, oh man. Look at Claire's comment. Be careful, Saremy. In France, 2 dots for the front and 1 for the... Oh. Oh, really? That's interesting. Right, Elena? He is really small. You had a Walter, too. So this is the back and this is the front. But what I don't understand is how, if I fold the sleeve, I can see it right now that the notch for the shoulder goes towards the back. See, there's the notch for the shoulder, if that's the front. I'm really confused by that. Oh, you know what I wanted to check is my across shoulder. Let me check my across shoulder because that might help me out here. It looked like it could be okay, but I just want to double check it. So if I were to line up my underarm and my center front, yeah, it's not bad, but it is up higher there. Okay. I may have to think about this. Maybe we should try the sleeve. Maybe we should try it. One 5/8, is that what I said? Where's my math? Two 5/8. Two 5/8. That's so much. You know what I'm thinking is that there was no ease in the sleeve to begin with, but I'm not sure. All right, well, let me draw my grain line on here so we can see it really good. Like this. And this is the front then, and this is the back. That's really confusing for me. All right. So if we have our front here, and I'm not sure exactly where, this notch is like way over here. See that right there? So that could be that the shoulder is a little bit to the back or like right up on top of your shoulder, right? Just not a little to the front, right? So let's see where we're at here. I'm gonna put in, I don't like knowing where this notch is. See, for me, this notch, this would be the front of the sleeve, this would be the notch. And I would know that there should be ease, equal ease on either side of this notch, right? So if this is the seam, right, we would do 3/4 of an inch and 3/4 of an inch. There would be our ease. Now what I could do is measure my armhole to work, right? So if my front was 7 3/4, right? Yeah, 7 3/4. I could kind of get a ballpark, like, what are we talking here? You know, we're talking like way up there. So normally when I raise an armhole like that, I would do the literal thing. I would go like this. I would raise it 2 inches and then blend it in just like that. That's what I would do. I don't know. So if I wanted to do this, what makes me worried about doing this change is how short my cap gets. See how this distance right here, I lose all of that. But this would be the proper way to do this adjustment, just so you guys know. I'm just hesitating because I'm a little bit nervous about how different that makes my cap. And partly it's probably because the cap goes out a little bit on the shoulder, so it is going to be a little bit flatter. So what we could do is cut this out in muslin when we get to this point on the garment, and try it out before we cut it in fabric. It's not a drop shoulder. It's definitely not a drop shoulder. But that's literally what you would do, is just that. And you wouldn't taper in like I just did. You really need to make sure that why is there a line here and here? I thought this was the sleeve length, but this is the sleeve length right here. Let me cut this off so we can just look at our sleeve right here. There we go. So you could do the exact same thing, right? You could cut this off and then raise it up just like we did there, and then technically you won't change your circumference around. So let's just make sure we don't, right? We can just draw a line right here and raise it up. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. You know how when you go to the thrift store and you see, or someone in your family hands you a craft and it's like 1/4 of the way done, or halfway done, or 3/4 of the way done. It doesn't matter. And they're like, I got into this, but I didn't really want to get into, you know, I don't really want to finish it. I'm not into this. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to finish that for you. That quilt, that garment, that latch hook rug, whatever. And you get into it and you're like, wait, I don't know where they were at in this. It looked so obvious to me. But when you take on someone else's project, you don't really know what are some of the things they built into it when you get there. And that's exactly how pattern drafting is. So I don't like questioning another pattern drafter's, you know, logic. We want this to be symmetrical, so we're just going to fold it in half. But making the armhole that low is going to make it so that the garment pulls up every time I lift my arms, and that's why I didn't want to do that. All right, so we're gonna do this. I'm just gonna do the normal change, and we're gonna see what happens. I think the cap height's gonna be a little low, and we could increase the cap height, bring in the sleeve if we need to, and then we can get our height and keep our volume. So let's just keep it there. Let's just do the regular old change and trust. And know that we can always make changes. Yeah, the length is going to be okay because we just raised it up and we got rid of all of this length. We brought it way up here. So we could see about where we're at to know, and then make the change when we get there. So, all right, let's cut. Let's cook because we got some cutting to do. These are all these extra, like I cut the length off of the blouse, and I've been just putting these back in the things. Let me do that so I don't get confused. And you can keep this out as a sewing guide for your tucks if you want. That's kind of cool that they added that. I mean, I'm assuming that's what it's for, but really great for a fitting thing. All right, this fabric color is pretty. You know why I picked this out, this color? Is because it's gonna go with my cropped jacket from Assembly Line. Remember that in the plaid? Remember the seam allowance, thank you. Thanks, Raquel. There's a lot of fabric here. I'm gonna just kind of look at the pieces and see where I'm at. I have a lot of fabric though. I don't think they wanted a dress. But if I put this over here and I get this amount back, I can't get a sleeve there. No, I can't. Okay. But I might be able to get the placket. Cut one of fabric, just one. And then you need some bindings. There's not very many pieces here. Let's hope I remember the seam allowance the whole way through. All right, so this piece is cut on the fold. It's got a pop over placket. And it looks like you sew the placket like you do a tower placket on a shirt. All right, I traced my size out, thankfully. At the end, I'm gonna mark my tucks. Since I did a lot of tuck sewing this spring, I got a really good little method for doing it. Because I think that's, the sewing of the tucks isn't hard. It is really hard to stay consistent and precise. Like, I already forgot, Raquel. I saw your comment there and I already forgot. This is gonna be hard. We're gonna add 1/4 inch. Yeah, I'm gonna eyeball it. It's gonna be fine. I think the hardest part with sewing tucks is honestly marking them for the sewing part of it. I didn't get that taped very flat, did I? Yep, because I'm franchising, exactly. Yeah, it's only 3/8 inch otherwise, so I'd have to serge, and you know, it's a pretty little blouse, right? Okay, so what I'm gonna do when I mark these is I do the center of it. So basically what you want is you just want one notch at the top. That is the fold of your pleat, or, you know, the halfway point between your sew lines, right? So that you could sit here and notch each of these little cut lines, but let me tell you how easy it is to get off, because remember, this is on the fold, right? So then when it's opened up, you have all these little snips, right? And it's really, really easy to not get the right one with the right one. So if we just put a little mark in the middle at the top and the bottom of the tuck, it's a lot easier to keep track. So let me mark my dart here. And I'm going to use my screw punch. I put a new tip in there, but I need to do a back off because the hole is so big now, because I don't have a small tip. I went to order a tip because I've gone through my 2 smallest tips. I went to order a tip and I could not get this person's site to work. It was like you could only use a street address. What was it? There was something up with it. You could only use a street address, but I wanted to use a P.O. box. And I'm like, why can't I use a P.O. box? Oh, I could use it. It said I could use a P.O. box. That's what it was, but it wouldn't let me do it. And so they were like, well, that's fine. You can just give us your credit card number and we can put the so I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. No. All right, so let me mark, what do I want to use here? We're going to make a straight line across, connecting the bottom of all these tucks. Like this. And now we're going to put a halfway mark. So these are 3/4 inch apart. 1 centimeter is halfway, 3/8 inch. Now that way you're marking half the amount of marks. And so now we need one up here. And it's going to be usually at the divot of the paper here. You can see this, how it goes in right here. Boop, boop. That's the middle point of your tuck. That one, 1, 2, 3. This one right here, because we're in the neck, is the peak of the tuck. Same with this one here, peak. So it's either going to be the divot or the peak of your tuck. And this one right here is also the peak right there. And we're going to mark, put a pin at the bottom here. So once we iron these, we won't have to have all these pins, and we won't have to have any nips or anything visible. I'm going to nip this right here though for each of these tucks. I know it's this one, and this one, 1, 2, 3. So I only need to nip that and that, and make sure I got both sides. And then we need this right here. I'm going to mark both of these. So one's probably the inner, one's probably the outer. All right, and so now we're going to flip this over, and I'm going to put my pin in right where all these were. I'll go and iron this right now, just in case you guys can't stay for the whole cutting, and I'm just cutting now, because this is really the only tip I really have for you today. All right, so I'm gonna pull my paper off of these. If you can think ahead and you have a screw punch, you know, punch your paper before you get to this point, before it's on your fabric. All right, so there we go. All of our notches. Oh, really, Terry? Well, it was their site. I think it's really weird. You know, I think about like people who are famous and how hard it is for them probably to ship things and order things. Like, I'm not like, woe is the celebrity, right? But at the same time, you know, because it's like, oh, you would just use a fake name or an alternate address, but you also have to have a credit card associated with it, right? So, okay, so if you don't want to lose these, you know, just pin them like this so that you have some time to get to them. And then let me remember which direction do we go? We're going to start away from us right here, right? And so now we're going to fold this, and we're going to line up that tuck. This one has a little nip. We're going to get this nice and straight between these 2 points here, and we're going to iron the heck out of it. And then the only thing I'm going to do really is probably mark the bottom like that. Okay, that's all you have to do to mark your tucks, is just iron them. And now we'll do this one here. As long as you know the width that you need to sew your tuck and you iron it, that's all you need. So now it's just a matter of sewing the right seam allowance. I know there's people that like to tuck their fabric. So that looks a little off from there. Does this one go? Go right here? There we go. It's a little hard to fold. And you can do that. Like, some people really like to pre-tuck their fabric, and then they cut their pattern piece out on top. So you can do that too. I've started to try that once, and I was like, oh, this is hard. It was hard for me. So remember, 2 points make a straight line, right? So you're just trying to make a straight line between the top and the bottom and then iron it. And remember, just to do it so that you're not ironing on top of what you've already ironed, and that's why we started away from us. And I'm not ironing these the direction they're gonna lay. That happens after they're sewn. So don't get confused by that. This is the center of our tuck, that's all. And keep an eye out, make sure these lines are parallel, right? Because if they're not, they won't be when you sew them either. All right, there's our center front. And now we're on the other side of the center. The first 3 are peaks, and then the last 2 are the clips. I think that's how it worked, right? Wait, who is having order? Oh, me, yeah. This is just cotton. Yeah, it was their website. I used to live somewhere where we only had P.O. box delivery. We didn't have street mail delivery. Like, it was impossible to do that because they didn't come around to your house and deliver. And it's crazy how many sites don't allow post boxes. And the only way you can really get around that is you can put your street address, but then when you put your zip code in, you use the +4 at the end, which is your P.O. box number. But some sites don't even have that option. And I'm no celebrity, but I really just don't like using my street address anymore. I just wanted to use that. I wanted to like either use PayPal or my P.O. box, and it just wouldn't let me do that. And the thing is, like, up here in Paradise for a while there was only P.O. boxes. Literally the town burned down, you know? So, like, there's lots of circumstances where P.O. boxes are really important. There we go. That's all your tucks. See, isn't that much easier to deal with? So now when you put it in the machine, you just sew your seam line, whoop, to the bottom where the pin goes in. And that's all you need. Where's my mouse? All right, so we'll put that over there. I'll keep this piece handy in my bin just in case I need it for like placket stuff or, I don't know, second guessing things. We might need it for dealing with the sleeve later too. Okay, let's put that in the bin. Could probably cut the placket out of this piece, maybe? No, definitely not. It's really funny what you can make up in your head, fabric-wise, isn't it? What hats are you ordering, Terry? Hats? Wasn't there I mean, I know there was a postal strike in the UK, but I don't think that would affect us, right? That's where I got my, like last time I got my screw punch tips, the replacements. I got them from Beyond Measure, who's in the UK. But I was like, there's got to be a US place. The thing about these is that there are cheap ones and there's really nice ones. And I know mine's a nice one, but I don't know like what the brand is. Like this is the packaging. Screw punch. And the packaging doesn't look like that anymore on the websites when I go to look at them. So I'm always like, oh, I don't know. Is that the one I have? Oh, you did? Really cool. Oh, Beyond Measure. She's a really lovely person. She sells some really cool like sewing things. I met her at the Edinburgh. What was that? knitting show that was in Edinburgh for like 3 years. It was really fun. I went to one of them. And I met her there. She was at the booth next to someone I took a class from. I think I got some cool buttons from her there too. But when she started selling the screw punches, I was like, oh my gosh, I've had one of those for years and I've never found tips for it. And the screw punch is really for paper crafting. It's not for fabric, you guys. You guys know that, right? Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm making it look like it's an essential tool for cutting things out. It is not. It is for marking things on paper, like putting holes in paper. And I use it for pattern drafting to mark the end of a dart. That's how I mark vanishing points. But I cheat and use it on fabric all the time. It is not meant for that. So if you get one, get a couple of extra. You get all the tips in the package. I only use the smallest couple. So yeah. All right, so I'm gonna mark the bottom here and where the gathers go. Oh, do I need 2 of these? I need 2 of these. And we're going to do the notches for the gathers here. Seam allowance! Ugh. It's over. It's over. Annoying. You tried. You shouted at me. We'll do some other creative seam allowance thing. I'll think about it. Just need the bottom here, and I like the center. Okay. I have to trim it off my front now. Ay, 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 ay. Exactly. Well said. All right, we need this placket. And you needed an interfacing as well. And you need a piece of binding. This binding looks massive. I'm probably gonna fit mine like right here. I may not get it on the true bias, but at least I won't have to take up some of my fabric. That's pretty good though. In fact, I think this is my size. We could really get it close. I'll cut the full width just in case. Can I FS 3/8? No, I don't know. Can I? I don't know, can I? People do, right? But they do it on like chiffon and organdy, things like that. Things that are see-through and stiff. Not chiffon, but like organdy and organza, right? Neck bias. I saw that neck bias and I was like, huh, I wonder how that's gonna sew. All right, and then we have this guy here. I'm gonna make sure I get this on the grain. Let's see. 10 3/8 right there. No, there is. There's just only 3/8 of an inch. There is. I just thought it would be nice to do kind of a French seam finish, you know? So. I turned this piece upside down, so don't do that if you have a directional print. It's this one right here. No, it's this one right here. Jeez. All right, so all that's left are my sleeves. We're gonna keep this piece out for all the markings on it. And I'm gonna cut my sleeve out of muslin and try on the shirt before we cut the sleeves out. Yeah, we knew, Julie. We knew there's no way I was gonna pull that off. Like, we knew. I don't believe anyone in chat thought I was going to be able to remember that, because I have never, ever in 5 years remembered to change my seam allowance on the fly. It's just too much for one girl to remember during a live stream, you know? Okay, so we have our sleeves. Let's get some muslin out so that we can try it out, and we'll fit it as we go. There's no reason you have to like agonize over fitting your whole garment sometimes. Like, fit it on the fly, and then just try and remember to add those changes to your pattern, whatever you end up doing. I didn't alter the pattern because I wanted to fit it. And that was spontaneous. I never fit things on here. So I was like, you know, I'm going to fit this today. So let's have it almost ready to go for that reason, so that they don't have to wait on me. You know what I mean? And so I cut out the pieces. I was more worried about picking the right size, like making sure I knew which size line was mine, than anything else, because I was like, whoa, there's a lot of sizes there. All right, we'll keep that, and that's it. We just need some interfacing for our placket. That's all we need now. It feels so good to have all this fabric to use for muslins right now. You know how when you used to have a lot of postage stamps, you would feel rich? You would be like, it's like money. I feel rich. I can write a letter to anybody. I'm good for a while. We don't really feel that way anymore. But I get that same feeling with having fabric for muslins, you know. Okay. Wait. What I don't understand is what side the interfacing goes on. Is this the right side? I'm assuming this is the right side. It may not be. So I'm cutting this with a fusible side facing up right now, because I was assuming that that would be the right side to do that. That might not be right, so maybe don't fuse your piece until we get there, just so that we can make sure. Like, don't listen to me yet. So we'll do it when we get there. Yeah, you should have said, do I want to do French seams on 3/8 of an inch? I don't know. Not my favorite. We're supposed to enjoy this, right? All right, so tomorrow I'll be sewing this. Oh, I love how like my face cam is like really close because of the fitting. We're gonna sew part 1 tomorrow. Let me pull up my calendar really quick for you guys. I gotta like grab it, but I know exactly where it's at. Be just a second. Let's see. Me and computer. Actually, we'll keep chat up. All right, so how is that cutting it off still? Why is it doing that now? Okay. I think that, geez Louise, why did I lose, how did I lose that? It's this one, yeah. Okay, here's the calendar. All right, so you can hear me, right? I didn't check the microphone on this. So this week, the first week, we're doing this Atlas blouse. And then 2 weeks from today, I'm doing a special thing with Alice & Co. Patterns, Alice & Company Patterns. It's their 5th anniversary, and they're doing a charity Zoom all about pockets. And it was really sweet that they asked me to do a demonstration on sewing pockets during their Zoom. I think it's £10 to do the charity Zoom. It's on August 16th. It's on their website. Let me look it up for you. Let's see. So let's see, it's right, if you go to their site and you go to online classes on the left, it's this bright pink thing here. I'll put it in the chat as well. And let me tell you a little bit about it. Let's see here. Ticket price is free or £10 to enter our raffle. Oh, okay. Feel free to buy multiple raffle tickets for multiple entries and help us raise as much money as possible for our chosen charity, the Jafuta Foundation Dignity for Girls. Our theme this year is pockets, both useful and decorative, starting with a little pocket history for inspiration. We will explore how to design interesting pockets, how to draft the patterns, and how to make them. Our special guest, me, will be giving lots of helpful tips on how to stitch your pockets with the flourish. And then there are things being given away with this raffle. It's a great project for writing girls living in rural villages in Zimbabwe with reusable sanitary protection and sewing skills. This straightforward and effective initiative is life-changing, as without sanitary towels, girls often feel too embarrassed to go to school and so miss out on vital education and life chances. £10 buys a pack of washable sanitary pads, which last 3 to 5 years and can be a complete game changer. They even managed to make them look pretty. So please put your hand in your pocket to help us buy lots. So, there's more information there. It's a Zoom. But what I wanted to say about Alice & Co. is that the last year, me, Libby, and someone else from the guild who actually told us about it, we took their behind the seams thing where it's like there's only 2 sessions left. And it's been amazing. Like, it's been just this really cool romp through history and fashion. And but this is the part I want to say. They are really good at conducting a Zoom. They stay on schedule. It never goes over. She's so good at demonstrating things. Like, it's very inspirational to me. She's a self-taught pattern drafter, but she really knows her stuff. And she's really good at like just walking you through it. And it's very easy to understand. Far easier than me. I'm not sure how we're going to demonstrate. I'm going to be doing 3 different pockets there. And so I gave them all my pocket patterns, and then she's going to use them as like a launching off point to design some. I'm going to do a welt, cutaway, and well, shoot, I can't remember the other one. A welt, a cutaway, and something else. I'm doing 3 different patterns, pockets for them. So if you want to hang out with me in that Zoom, that's on the 16th. So it's usually my live stream day, but instead I'm going to be doing their anniversary party. It's also my 5th anniversary this month. And so we'll do a little live stream right there. You can see it on the 25th down here, which I don't have a date there. That week after Allison Company, I'm going to be doing this Sintra halter by Liesl and Company Patterns, Liesl and Co. Or their website's Oliver and S. And I can show you that pattern. I have it right here. That's another Hearts fabric. The last week of the month is normally a live stream month, but I'm going out of town for a funeral, someone who passed away in January, and I am just feeling a little bit like it would be too much of a scramble to do something. Like I'm getting home on Wednesday. So I'm just not going to do a stream that week, and then I'll see you in September. And in September, I'm going to be doing, someone purchased like a charity stream from me. I'm trying to get back to my thing here. Here we go. A charity stream from me, which was a really nice donation, and it allows me to make something live on camera, and then we donate it. And I asked the guild places to donate things, so we're going to donate things to 2 places. I can't remember the name of one of them. I can't remember the name of either one of them, but I'll tell you guys more about it when we get there in September. And I bought all this fleece. I'm thinking it's way too much now. Look at this. It's bigger than me. But I got all this fleece for a really, really good deal from the Rain Shed. And I'm going to make like 2 kind of smallish sizes and 1 largish size fleece pullovers, and I feel like those will be really useful going into fall and winter in North America. So that's my plan. So that's what's coming up for So-So. And maybe I'll see you at the Allison Company thing. Usually there's a lot of people in that Zoom, but they don't chat. Like it's just, you're there and you can type and chat and ask questions just like a live stream. It's basically like a live stream. But whoever has their camera on, you can see their face. That's all. So it's very low key, low stress. I never have my camera on when I'm in the Zooms. I just watch and listen. So, so yeah, if you want to participate in that, maybe it is free unless you want to enter the raffle. So that could be fun. You can give me a hard time in there. Please don't. All right. Well, that's all I have for you today. But I will be here tomorrow sewing, and I'm going to noodle on the sleeve now that you're not going to be here, so that it'll probably all pop into my head what I want to do with that. But that's where we're at. Oh, my streams, my chat's showing up there. Cool. That's so cool. All right. Yeah. Thanks for trying to remind me to do the seam allowance. I got to trim that one on the front. But look at that. It's the first thing we'll sew is these tucks, I think, so we don't lose any of our ironing. But that's nice and crisp. And look at how obvious it is. So obvious. See that? Super easy. It's the easiest way to do tucks, in my opinion. There's probably some genius that does this all the time and has figured out a way easier way, but I don't know what it is. That one makes sense for me. So, yeah. Yeah. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And Saturday. So we'll see you then. Where's my little thingy? There it is. Bye.